يقدر يشوفك ممتاز. Okay. All right, everyone. We are about to get started with our honorary guest today, Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. I will be introducing him. Bismillah. Dr. Mustafa Barghouti is a Palestinian physician, activist, and politician who serves as the General Secretary of the Palestinian National Initiative, also known as Al-Mubadera. He's also the head of the Palestinian Medical Relief Society. Mustafa Barghouti ran in the presidential elections of January 2005 and came in as second place. He's been a member of the Palestinian Legislative Council since 2006. In 2007, he was a Minister of Information in the Palestinian Unity government. Welcome, Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. تشرفنا وأهلا وسهلا فيك اليوم. نورتنا, and we are so honored to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me.
If we can start off by letting everyone know, if you could tell us what the Palestinian National Initiative is and how it differs from the other factions in Palestine.
Well, the Palestinian National Initiative is a democratic movement, non-aligned with anybody else and totally independent from Fatah and Hamas. And it was created by a number of Palestinian leaders and intellectuals in 2002. What gathered us together is that we all rejected Oslo Agreement and thought it was a big mistake. And we all believe that Palestinians need a third democratic force in Palestine that could work as much as it could for national unity of all Palestinians and for the creation of a unified Palestinian leadership. Among the leaders who participated in creating the initiative was Dr. Haidar Abdel-Shafi, who was known so well as one of the most decent Palestinian leaders and most honest. Also, one of the founders was Dr. Edward Said. Professor Said was very well known as maybe one of the most active Arab intellectuals in the world. And the other person was Ibrahim Daqqaq, who used to be the leader of the national guidance committees that led the Palestinian struggle in the occupied territories in the 70s and the 80s. But in addition to that, there were hundreds of other leaders who joined the creation of this movement, which has three major goals. The first goal is freedom of Palestine and Palestinian people. That's the most important goal. And mobilizing resources internally and worldwide in creating the largest possible international solidarity movement with Palestinians to achieve freedom. But the movement also believed in internal democracy as the way of organizing the internal differences between Palestinians and of unifying the Palestinian people and their efforts, something that we need today more than any time before. And that's why the first call was for a unified Palestinian leadership and giving the Palestinian people, and especially the younger generation, the right to choose and elect their leaders freely and democratically. And one of the main problems we had is that we didn't have any elections for 20 years, which has created a very deep internal political problem. The third goal is, of course, social justice. We believe in social justice. We believe in the rights of the underprivileged. We believe in the rights of women to have full rights in Palestinian structures. And we believe in the rights of all marginalized groups. One very important point is that the Palestinian National Initiative has wide membership, but I can tell you that 80% of its members are young people and women. And in our statute, as well as in the last Congress we had, where we had democratic elections, and all leaders of the movement were elected from the grassroots to the top, But there is also this very big concern that young people should have leadership positions, and that's what we have today in this movement.
MashaAllah, that's amazing. And I wanted to divert into talking about current day events, what's happening right now. So, in relation to the ongoing expansion of illegal Israeli settlements in the West Bank, especially with the most recent Israeli E1 settlement expansion plan, what do you see as the most effective international measures to pressure Israel to halt this expansion?
I want you all to know, especially the Palestinians among you, that what we face today is a true existential threat.
Yes.
Israel's goal is really to eliminate and erase the Palestinian people. And that has been the Israeli Zionist plan from the very beginning, since 100 years. What we face here is not just occupation and not a system of apartheid only. What we face here is a uh, settler colonial project that aims not only at occupying Palestinian land, which they have done by force, but at eliminating Palestinian people totally through ethnic cleansing. Their new plans in Gaza are about ethnic cleansing of the 2.2 million Palestinians. This has been the goal since October 8th, and they didn't change an inch. If Netanyahu really cared about the Israeli prisoners, he would have accepted the Palestinian unconditional acceptance of Witkoff proposal. But he doesn't want that. He doesn't care about the Israeli prisoners. He cares only about total erase of the Palestinian people. And this new plan in the West Bank is about eliminating also Palestinian presence in the West Bank. Their goal, they already fragmented the West Bank into clusters of ghettos by
Yes.
hundreds of Israeli settlements. In response to your question, Israel will not listen to condemnations, will not listen to statements. The only way for the international community now to force Israel to stop is to impose sanctions on Israel. Real sanctions, powerful sanctions, true sanctions. And that applies not only to the international community, but also to the Arab countries as well. We're not asking the Arab governments to send armies to fight. We know that this is unrealistic. But at least start and initiate an embargo on Israel, a collective act of sanctions, eliminate and change and remove the terrible, shameful normalization agreements with Israel that Israel is using now as an instrument to liquidate the Palestinian issue.
100%. And I think this is so important for everybody to hear what Dr. Mustafa Barghouti mentioned about what the intentions of Israel is and what we've all known at this point their intentions are, and we're witnessing it in real time. I wanted to, my last question before I give a chance for a few of my team members here to ask, because of the time, is for everyone that's watching from afar who feel helpless, what message do you believe they most need to hear from a Palestinian voice such as yours, Doctor?
Our biggest enemy is not Israel. Our biggest enemy is frustration, disappointment, and depression. And if the people of Palestine and the activists who support Palestine are depressed and feel hopeless, they will become paralyzed. And one of the
Mm.
main goals of the Israeli attacks on us is to make us feel hopeless. And that's why I call on everybody, don't allow that to happen. We are in difficult situation. We've lost already more than 70,000 martyrs who have been killed by Israel. We have 20,000 children killed. The West Bank itself is subjected now to terrorist attacks by Israeli settlers. But we will not leave this country. We will steadfast, we will be resilient, and we will resist this terrible
Yes.
crime. And that's the message from people in Palestine who face the threat and the risks every day. And it's a message to every Palestinian, every person who believes in humanity and justice in this world. This is the time where you have to put your efforts to support the Palestinian struggle on the ground and to impose as much pressure as possible on Israel. We can't afford, the Palestinian people cannot afford to be depressed or be pessimistic. We cannot afford that. As Mahmoud Darwish said, I think we are infected with eternal optimism. And we will never give up our rights. We will never give up our hope. And I hope this will be transmitted to every one of you. We should not think about how bad the situation is. We should think about how we can change this terrible situation.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%, and we will make sure for everyone to echo what your message is and what you just said, because that is exactly what the Palestinian people are saying and what they want. Thank you so much. From my end, this is my questions. I'm going to give it a chance for my team members here to ask a question, inshallah. Make it quick. Hopefully, we'll with time. Thank you again, Dr. Mustafa Barghouthi. What an amazing individual. Yani, barakallahu feek. Okay, go ahead, Sister Rana. We'll start with you.
Okay, Salam, doctor. Thank you so much for being here. So my question is, what does international recognition of Palestine truly mean for us as a people? And how can it lead to real justice rather than remain symbolic?
Well, these recognitions are too little and too late, of course. But we shouldn't forget that already 147 countries of the world have recognized Palestine. And probably 12 or 15 other countries will join soon. The number of countries that already recognized Palestine is larger than the number of countries that recognize Israel. And that is, of course, very meaningful. The recognition itself is useful, it's positive, we welcome it, because it affirms the right of self-determination for the Palestinian people, and it affirms our right for our homeland. And also it negates all the Israeli illegal measures, including settlement building on the ground, and confirms that these Israeli acts are illegal and represent violation of international law and international humanitarian law and UN resolutions. And also, most important, they represent a violation of the International Court of Justice resolution more than once, actually, more than one resolutions. But recognitions alone are not enough. They will not stop Israel from doing what it does. I say that if France and Britain and Canada and Australia mean it really when they speak about the right of the Palestinian people to have a state of their own, then they should immediately impose sanctions on Israel. Recognition without sanctions will not change much. Recognition, yes, but add to that sanctions on this terrible Israeli entity, this terrible Israeli fascist government that has gone so far. We haven't seen anything like that, this kind of expansionist policy since Second World War, since the time of Hitler and the Nazi regime. And they are repeating the same attitude, especially when they speak about Greater Israel. Do you know what Greater Israel is about? Netanyahu says he believes in that vision. What is that vision? It's a vision of annexing not only the West Bank and Gaza Strip, but also all of Jordan, all of Lebanon, half of Syria, half of Iraq, all of Kuwait, half of Saudi Arabia, and half of Egypt. That's what they are talking about. And that's why it's time for the whole world to stand up to these fascists and stop them. And that's the time when inside the United States of America, there should be greater pressure on Trump's administration. Because without the Trump's support, and the American administration support, Israel would not have dared to go that far, not only in annexing the West Bank, but also in committing all these terrible war crimes, including genocide, collective punishment, and starvation of the people. And by the way, Israel is already a pariah structure. I've just been on ABC, the American station. I was surprised how much time they gave me and how they did not object to any word I said, including describing the Israeli government as a fascist government and describing what's happening as genocide and acts of ethnic cleansing. I think the world is open for us, but we have to be courageous and demand our rights completely and fully.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
No, that was an amazing answer. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rana. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. We'll go to Linda. Go ahead, Linda.
Salam, Doctor. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. It's an honor to meet you. You did mention that the Oslo Accords were a mistake. Given your experience and leadership in Palestinian politics, can you elaborate more on your assessment of the legacy of the Oslo Accords, particularly in terms of its impact on the Palestinian quest for statehood and sovereignty? Do you believe that this agreement opened a path toward peace, or did it ultimately undermine Palestinian aspirations?
No, it definitely undermined Palestinian aspirations, and it was the biggest mistake ever committed by the PLO and the Palestinian official leadership. And they did it maybe out of goodwill or out of misreading the situation. But they did it because they had the illusion that the Zionist movement is ready for a compromise. And the Zionist movement created this illusion because they were troubled by the fact that the balance of power on the ground in the occupied territories was changed by the heroic First Intifada. And the Oslo Agreement was their way of diffusing the effect of the First Intifada. And I wouldn't be telling you a secret if I tell you that President Arafat himself told me when he was besieged by Israel after the Second Intifada that he thought that Oslo Agreement was a trap and that the Palestinian leadership unfortunately fell in that trap. Why it is a terrible agreement? First of all, because, and by the way, if we don't have much time to explain everything, but if you are interested, you can follow a podcast called Bidun Waraq, which I did maybe more than a year ago in Kuwait. And I think if you look it up, you will have lots of details about the reality of what happened historically. Bidun Waraq, it's called. But the major three mistakes of Oslo were that it included an unequal recognition. The PLO leadership recognized Israel, but Israel did not recognize a Palestinian state. All they recognized is PLO as a representative of Palestinians. The second thing was that that agreement was interim without identifying the end result. And all the major issues like settlement, Jerusalem, right of return for refugees, borders, water, etc., all were delayed. And then Israel changed facts on the ground, continued to change facts on the ground. And when Oslo Agreement was signed more than 30 years ago, actually 34 years ago, or 33 years ago, when it was signed, the number of illegal Israeli settlers in the occupied Palestinian territories were 121,000. Today, the number of Israeli illegal settlers is 800,000. So the biggest mistake was not to realize that the major instrument that the Israeli expansionist policy is using is settlements. And the rest of settlements was not recognized as it should have been. There are many, many other mistakes about Oslo Agreement. I can list maybe 100 problems. But I think these three issues are sufficient to understand that it was a big mistake. And now life has shown that we were right when we rejected Oslo Agreement, and that it was a big mistake that should not have happened.
إلك.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you for your answer. Amazing answer, Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. And I wish we had more time to hear more about that. Go ahead, Brother Ilyas.
Salam, Doctor. Hayakallah. How are you? Appreciate you being here
Ahlan,
today.
salamat. Nice to
You
meet
know,
you.
we've always in the past called on the Arab world to unite. We called on the Muslim world to unite in this Palestinian cause. In this recent normalizations that we see with the Abraham Accords, would you say it's still true where we could maybe move away from some of these countries that are normalizing with Israel and not going with that same logic of we need all the Arab to unite, we need all the Muslim world to unite, since they're not showing us that's what they want to do?
Well, I don't know if the call for their unity will work, but if they can unite, that would be nice. In my opinion, what we should ask for is the unity of those who are supporting Palestinians. The unity of all the human beings worldwide, whether they are Arabs, Muslims, Christians, internationals, foreign, Western, Eastern, it doesn't matter. Everybody that supports the right of Palestinian people of self-determination, of freedom, all these people should be together and should be unified. The shameful Abraham Accords are absolutely shameful because they were about giving Israel an instrument to eliminate the Palestinian cause and to liquidate the Palestinian cause. And in my opinion, it is, I mean, if some people then thought they were making peace, I think it's enough now to see that they are making normalization with a government, with a country that has committed all kinds of war crimes, genocide, collective punishment, including starvation of people, ethnic cleansing. And they want to do more of that. Any country in the world that normalizes with such an entity will not only be complicit in the war crimes that are happening, but one day it will be accused of participating in these crimes. And that's why our call, enough is enough. What we need is not normalization with the fascist system, but imposing sanctions on this fascist system.
Jazakallah, Doctor. Thank you, brother.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Ilyas. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa Barghouti. Our last question, inshallah, before we wrap it up, we'll go to Al-Muhandis. Go ahead, Brother Anju.
السلام عليكم دكتور، يعني شكرا كثير انك شرفتنا بقدومك. I have
Alhamdulillah,
a
shukran
question.
ilak.
شكرا لك دكتور. I have a question. There are some voices who are saying Hamas should disarm and the resistance should surrender their weapons. And some of them are even calling the resistance directly to surrender their weapons. What do you think about that, Doctor?
Look, since October 7th, Israel's goal was to dehumanize Hamas and then use dehumanization of Hamas to dehumanize all Palestinians. And this fascist tendency is clear when you have 64% of the Israeli public, not the government, the public, saying that there are no innocent people in Gaza, which means that children are not innocent, which means that it is a justification for killing children. It's not enough for them that 20,000 children have already been killed and hundreds have already been stabbed to death. But they want to continue that. When they speak about disarmament, the question is why do they reject the proposals to end the war and stop the fighting? They don't want to disarm Hamas only. They don't want to eliminate Hamas only. They want to eliminate the whole Palestinian population. And they don't want, not only they don't want to see military resistance, they don't want to see any kind of resistance. They want to impose capitulation of the Palestinian people. And in this case, capitulation doesn't mean that you allow the occupying army to occupy your country. It's not that. It's more than that. It means capitulation means that Palestinian people will accept to be ethnically cleansed completely from all their land, whether in the West Bank or Gaza or inside 1948 areas. This is what they mean. And the big question here, whose security is at risk here? Whose security is at risk? Israel is not the victim in this conflict. Israel is the aggressor. It's the cause of the problem that we see today. And for a very long time, Israel tried to promote three wrong ideas. One is that Israel is the victim and it's the one in need for security. And second, that Israel is the democracy while they are practicing apartheid. And third, that they represent democratic and human values of the West. In this war, all these three lies have been exposed. And what is at risk here are the Palestinian people. Israel has 200 nuclear heads. They have the most powerful army in the Middle East. Their army is probably the fifth largest in the world. And they are so powerful militarily. So they are not the ones at risk. We are the ones at risk. And when they speak about disarmament, why they don't speak about mutual disarmament? Why there wouldn't be a zone disarmed on the other side of the borders to protect us, the Palestinians who have been victims of the Israeli aggressions all the time? The people who speak about that forget or insist to forget that Israel is the one that is occupying us. Israel is the one that ethnically cleansed us in 1948 when they forced 70% of the Palestinian people to leave their homes and in the process destroyed 521 communities. Now they are destroying all of Gaza. So let's be clear here. The side that needs protection, the side that needs security more than anybody else are the Palestinian people. And we don't want anybody to be killed, whether it's Jewish or Palestinian or Arab or anybody. But we want justice. We want our right to be free, free from occupation, free from apartheid, free from oppression. And we want the rights that all other people of the world have had. And let me remind you the phrase that a famous Palestinian poet said once. His name was Tawfiq Zayyad, and he was the mayor of Nazareth. He said, "We, the Palestinian people, are not better than any other people in the world. But no other people in the world are better than us." And that's the key point here. Palestinians should be accepted and treated as equal human beings and not discriminated against.
Wow. That is the perfect way to end this live with what he just said. No justice, no peace. And I want everybody to take this with you. It's a very powerful statement. Such an amazing opportunity. دكتور مصطفى البرغوثي تشرفتنا ونورتنا وبارك الله فيك والله يحميك ويعني إن شاء الله we'll be able to have you with us again. I know it was a very short session and so many people want to say something to you, and inshallah we will be able to next time. So I thank you again, Dr. Mustafa Al-Barghouti, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you again, and inshallah we will hear from you very soon, and inshallah we'll see you as our leader one day, inshallah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Assalamu
Thank you.
alaikum.
And thank you
Thank you.
for everything you do. Bye.
Thank you for everything you do. Thank you so much.
هو انت جد الاحرار جد الفلسطينيين